Yeah, frustration is a good word for it. Yeah, expressing his frustration over that daily call yesterday, saying that the state needs more testing supplies, but that the federal government isn't really helping out. Even the state's health commissioner expressed her frustration yesterday with the lack of response.
We have had multiple phone calls with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services at the highest levels based on the governor's personal request to Vice President Pence. We've sent specific supply requests and have not heard back.
Well, state leaders say they need more reagent, which is a chemical vital in identifying COVID-19. Supplies are on back order until May 1st, and until then, the state has just enough to run 600 more critical tests. The governor contends that more testing could drastically slow the spread of the virus. Meantime, the Department of Health and Human Services did not respond to our request for comment, but yesterday, Vice President Mike Pence said that more than 1 million tests have been performed in the country and more than 100,000 tests are happening every day. And it's not just this specific ingredient that the state needs for these coronavirus tests. It also needs more swabs and protective gear, but they're in a tough spot because the U.S. emergency backorder supply is nearly empty of this protective gear. Chris?